Hey everyone, it's Chris from Rat Race Rebellion coming at you, unfortunately, with another work from home scam. As I have in the past, I came across this one on a work from home Facebook group page that is unfortunately just littered with scammers, and nobody seems to be taking control of things over there. From where I sit, that's good because it gives me a hunting ground. From where job seekers sit, not such a good thing, because when you see an established Facebook page with so many people contributing, too many times people feel like it must be legitimate. So I kicked this one off by engaging with the scammer. I just went over to the Facebook page and they had their job post, and it said, DM me, send me a direct message if you are interested in learning more. So I did. And I pretty quickly heard back from this person who's going by the name Tabitha Marshall. Not the real name, I'm sure. Probably a hijacked Facebook account, I'm also sure. But that's how it started off. And the conversation essentially went with, I contacted her saying, I'd love to hear more about the position with Merrill Lynch, because that's where she purported to be posting this job from. Which, by the way, I think Merrill Lynch goes by just Merrill now, not Merrill Lynch, which certainly somebody who actually works for or with the company would know. And she said, all right. I said, excellent. What can you tell me about it? Merrill Lynch is an excellent company. So she tells me this is a remote job, which can be done from your home. The pay is $35 an hour, full-time or part-time, flexible hours with a minimum of 15 hours weekly. You can do all this work your own hours daily, weekends provided. There is a time tracker to calculate the hours you work daily. And sorry, it's a little hard to read because it's pretty poorly written. So anyway, I said, that sounds amazing. What does the work involve? And she said, data entry are, and this is going to sound messy, and that's because it's written messy. Data entry are usually responsible for entering data into different computer databases, manage and maintain effective record keeping. In addition, they may be responsible for organizing files, collecting and managing data to be entered into the computer. Can you do this? Most definitely. Now you need to go for your interview section to know if you are a fit for the position. So I said, okay. At which point she told me to download Signal. And I said, I do have Signal on my phone. And she said, now install that and let me know once you're done setting it up. And I said, I already have it installed, which I had already said. So she gave me a reference code, which I'm sure means absolutely nothing. And I said, okay, I'm contacting them now. And then I circle back to a conversation with her later, and I will bring you into the loop on that one when we get there. I've said it before. I will say it again. I know where this one is going. Real companies, especially real big companies, don't conduct interviews over chat. They're just not going to do it. They're not going to use applications like Signal or Session or Telegram or any of the others that are out there and interview you expressly by chat.
They're all malarkey.
And so anyway, I did send in that message, and I started off by giving them the number that they had given me, RF 836 reporting for interview. You're going to notice in the screenshots that this person, English is clearly not their first language. They're not living in the US. I'm certain of that because this conversation started at 8 o'clock in the evening, and HR departments are probably not conducting data entry interviews at 8 o'clock in the evening. But one of the things that he does is he ends a lot of the sentences with a question mark, like he's asking a question. So his first thing that he said to me is, "You are welcome." I said, "I hope so." So my name is Andrew Lull. It's nice to have you here. I believe you are here and ready for the job briefing and interview. I will be your supervising manager. I said, correct. I am Barb Dwyer. Barb Dwyer, Barb Dwyer. And I like to throw these little things at them just to see if they pick up on any of it. And I said, and it took him a few minutes to get back in touch. So I said, are you there, Andrew? Because another thing I like to do is start acting in a way that you just wouldn't act in an interview for a job that you were serious about. So I'll badger them a bit as we're going through the process. And he said, yes. I said, oh, good. You didn't respond. So I thought I had lost the connection. I will start to brief you about the company and the position you will be occupying. And then he sends me this big blurb about Merrill Lynch that was clearly just downloaded from the internet. And I said, that sounds like a good idea. Thank you. I'm familiar with Merrill Lynch. And he said, before we proceed, I would love to know more about you that would help where to categorize you and how best to interview you. Please introduce yourself, indicating your full name and location. And I said, Barb Dwyer. I'm located in Connecticut, USA. Okay. Where are you located? I don't get an answer to that because they never want to tell you anything along those lines. And when they do, they're just pulling it out of a hat. Now I will be asking you your interview questions and I need you to answer me ASAP. Okay? I said, of course, I'll be happy to answer your questions quickly. You tell me that okay. And then he said that, and then it was like a couple of minutes before the first question came. So I said, you tell me that you need me to respond as soon as possible, but then you disappear. Seems like if I have to answer ASAP, you should also. And then about a minute later, like absolutely not calling me out at all on that sarcastic response. That would have ended a real job interview right there, but not with a scammer, not while they think they might get their hooks into you. Have you ever worked from home or online before? Are you currently employed? How many hours do you intend to dedicate to this job daily? I said, I've been working from home since 1994. Now, you're going to see later on, I tell them that my birth date is 2001. Okay. Again, zero fact checking. So I'm telling them I started working from home in 1994. I'm currently employed, but I have a lot of flexibility in my schedule. I intend to dedicate 25 hours a week to this position. Okay. So I say, okay. Sometimes I do that too, just mirror back what they're saying to me. How do you ensure accuracy while typing? I type with 98% accuracy, and then I proofread everything that I send before it goes out, which if anybody's ever read the newsletter, when it's my turn to write it, you know that's total BS. So anyway, but you have to say what you have to say to get the fake job, right? And then I said, I'm sure you've noticed that my text messages to you are very accurate. Keep up, Andy. And then he didn't come back for a while. So I said, hello, Andrew, you told me to answer ASAP and I'm doing that, but you seem to be very distracted. Are you still there? I would very much like this job, but it's difficult to interview when you're not talking. Completely just goes to the next question. What office software are you most comfortable using? So I give him some information there. And he says, okay, do you have an HP LaserJet printer, copier, and scanner? And I say, I have a LaserJet printer, copier, and scanner, but it's a Canon and not a Hewlett Packard. Send me a picture for that confirmation. Again, it's a question. Send a picture of that for confirmation. I said, you want me to send you a picture of my printer? Yes. So I say, that's just weird, but okay, give me just a minute. I have to go to my desk. And then I literally came into my office, took a picture because I was upstairs. I was done with work for the night when this engagement first started. So I had packed everything up for the evening. I go to bed early. And anyway, so I sent the picture and I said, do you need any other pictures from my office? I'm going upstairs and I'd rather not have to keep coming up and down. He said, okay. In a grade of 100%, how much can this company depend on you for your loyalty, diligence, hard work, team spirit, and sincerity? I said, 100%. I mean, it's 8:30 at night and I just came downstairs 2 flights to take a picture of my printer. What do you think? He said, okay. How long do you expect to remain employed with this company if hired? I said, for as long as the job is enjoyable. I'm not in it for the money, so there has to be some job satisfaction. If I'm pleased with the job and enjoy myself, I'll stay for a long time. If it sucks, I'm not going to stick around. He says, okay. So, if hired, how do you prefer to be paid? Weekly or biweekly, mobile deposit, or a credit card transfer? I said, biweekly by mobile deposit. Now, at this point, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be they're going to send me a bogus check to purchase bogus equipment, and the check is going to bounce, and I'm going to be left holding the bag. So anyway, that's where my mind is at. But the conversation continues, and he says, "What's the name of the bank you operate with to know if it tallies with the company's payment?" And I said, I have several bank accounts. I'm most likely to use the one with Wells Fargo, but I also have Bank of America. I feel quite certain that a company the size of Merrill Lynch is doing business with both of these. And he says, yes. I need you to provide me with quick answers to a few questions below. Are you a U.S. citizen? If not, do you have a green card? Are you clean from felony? Are you clean from hard drugs? Do you have a work reference? I said, I'm a U.S. citizen. I don't have any felonies on my record and do not take any kinds of drugs. And yes, I can certainly provide work references if necessary. Okay. Why should we hire you for the job? For many reasons. Okay. What are those reasons? So I tell him I'm a hard worker. I have many skills, blah, blah, blah. He says, great. And then he puts me on hold so he can go talk to his, apparently the head of department, to enable them to see if you're committed and good for this job. So he's just going to go wander off and take some text messages to this non-existent person to find out if I'm committed and if I'm a good fit for the job based on just a few things. So he tells me it's going to be 10 minutes. That was at 8:40. So after 10 minutes, I say, waiting. And I said, please hurry. The battery is running down on my phone. This was at 8:53. So it had been 13 minutes. And he said, you have to be patient? Again, a question, not a statement. So I said, I'm trying, but you did say 5 to 10 minutes and it's been 13 minutes. Your interview percentage scored and consideration stand is available now on my desk. Are you ready to know your stand? My stand? Okay. Yes, I am. You scored 95% on the questions answered and for your consideration stand. Makes no sense, but trust me, I'm reading that the way that it's typed out here. You've just been confirmed qualified for the position due to your level of experience and communication skills. The company has decided to give you a chance for you to work for the company as a part-time data entry clerk and will like to see your diligence, charisma, commitment towards the job. Congratulations. I say, awesome. You're welcome once again, Barb. Then he asks me for information about my full name, my date of birth, current address, phone number, all of this stuff, he says, so that the secretary can enlist them into the company's register for proper documentation. And I said, I'm going to have to send you all of those in the morning. It's getting late here and I have to get the babies to bed. I have grandbabies. I have no babies and they're not living here. So he says, okay. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't do it right now. I'm very excited. I can send you everything. And then I said, I can send you everything but the license. And I'll send that in the morning. So I sent him barbed wire, gave him my birth date, December 21st, 2001. And remember, I've been working at home since 1994. Sent him my email address. Told him I'd send a picture of the license in the morning. And then he sends me a job description of the job that apparently I've just been offered. Okay. So I said, and he said, can you handle all of this effectively if trained? And I said, absolutely, of course. Then he asked if I have an Apple laptop and time tracker. I said, no, I have a PC. And he sent me a list of software that I will need to start working with them. And it's like, you have to look at the list. It's Form, eBay, Kintone, Flowfinity, Grouper, Fastfield, and Array. And I just said, wonderful. You'll be eligible for benefits after 1 month. Perfect. And I said, how will you send me the money for equipment and software? Because again, I'm still thinking that this is a bait and switch where they're going to send me a bad check or somebody else's check for equipment and ask me to wire it to them, or they're going to pretend it's not them, for the equipment. And he says it will be deposited into your bank account. That's different, because usually they say, we're going to send you a check and then you can deposit by mobile transfer. So now I'm starting to wonder where this is going. And he says the job offers flexible hours, like they don't know what to say if you go off script. So I said, okay, how soon do I start? And he said, as soon as you get your equipment fee and purchase them. And I said, okay, do you know how long that might take so that I can plan accordingly? After the proper documentation is filled out, your equipment fee and bonus would be issued, and you can get that to purchase them. And I said, okay, I guess I'll wait until I receive everything from you. And he said, you are to report here 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Okay. And I said, I'll be available at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Good night. 8:06 this morning, because all of this happened last night. So 8:06 this morning, he sends me a message. Good morning. I said, good morning. How was your night? It was good. You are expected to send your details now? And I said, I haven't received any documents from you to fill out. And he repeated everything that he said last night that he needed. The name, the address, date of birth, and everything. And I said, please scroll up in our conversation. I provided you with all of that information last night. And he said, yes, but you never provide the DL, the driver's license. And I said, oh, yes. Please give me a couple of minutes and I will get on that and send it to you. And he said, okay. Now, it took me a little bit to put that together because I created a fake driver's license. I have a template that I use for that. So I made an excuse for not getting it there right away. And I said, sorry, the baby was crying, and sent him the driver's license. He said, and because I create it in Canva, I said, I hope that's clear enough. My phone camera is not the best. Do you need anything else? And he said, send the back view now. Okay. So I mocked up a phony back view. I don't ever send anything that actually has any information on it or any barcodes, anything that's scannable, because scammers can do a lot with this information if it gets into their hands. So I actually thought that I sent him the back view, and I didn't. So he reached out and he said, I'm waiting on you. Again, a question. I said, oh, I thought I already sent it. Let me double check. And then I sent it. So I said, what happens next? He said, hold on for a few minutes to get the information into the company database. Sure. And then he said, done. I said, and this was like 10 minutes later. So I said, done with what? Because I had literally forgotten that he said he was going to put it into the company database. So I said, and this is where we find out what the scam is. What happens next? Now your account is needed to get that linked to the company's accounts to get your equipment's bonus and weekly pay. And he sends me a screenshot of different banks. And so now I know he's looking for my bank information, but he hasn't given me specifics yet. So I say, what do you need specifically? And he said, the user ID. Now, for a company to send money to you, all they really need so that they can wire money to you is your bank account number and your routing number. They don't need your user ID. So I said, the user ID from my bank account? And then I sent him the user ID. Unicorn, using a 0 for the O. And I said, is that all? And of course, that's not my user ID. And he said, is that the username on your BOA or your Wells Fargo? And I said, Wells Fargo. And he said, I need the BOA username. So they're going to try to tap into 2 bank accounts because I said that I have 2. So they're going to tap into both, right? So I said, I used the same user ID for both. And he said, and password. Hope you have a bank credit card for purchase, because they're going to go looking for that as well. I said, it's easier for me to remember talking about using the same one for both. And he said, and do you have a Cash App account? Now they're trying to figure out They think that they have somebody here who's really vulnerable. So they're going to try to find every possible way to tap into whatever money I might have. I said, I don't have Cash App. And then for the password, I said, one Forest, one exclamation point, one Forest, one. I said, that's the password for both Bank of America and Wells Fargo. And then he disappeared again. So I said, hello. And he texted right back and said, the details are not correct, and sent me a screenshot from his computer saying, we do not recognize your username or password. Please try again. And I said, are you sure? He said, cross-check the details and send the correct information. Let me double check. Maybe I updated them and just forgot. But why are you trying to log into my account? Now I'm a little bit worried. He's got an answer, and it was canned, because as soon as I asked that question, I could tell he just copied and pasted it because it took less than a second to get the response. The reason for requesting your banking information is due to our past experience with various kinds of people. You mean people like you, scammers? Most people get the money in their bank account / credit card, but later turn their back and say they didn't get it, and we have to make sure the money is also going into the right account. You have nothing to worry about, okay? I said, okay, I'm double checking the information and I'll send it to you in just a minute once I find it. Okay, that was at 9:52. And at 10:12, I mean, I've got other things to do. You can't entertain a scammer all the time. So I took a little time to do other things. And I said, still looking, the account locked because I tried too many times. To which he immediately responded, you don't have to retry. You only need to reset the password. Oh, okay. That was at 10:12. At 10:40, I still hadn't responded. And he said, have you done that yet? Now, one of the reasons it took a while for me to get back to him on that was because I had then reached out to the Facebook contact. And I said, this was in that interim period before he got back to me. And I said to her, Tabitha, Merrill Lynch is asking me for my user ID and password for my bank account. I just wanted to confirm with you that this is legitimate. It worries me. I had forgotten the original password, but I just changed it. I want to make sure that they're real before I send it. And she very reassuringly says, it is 100% legit. I also gave mine to get my pay promptly and bonuses. I said, you're the best. How long have you been with them? 10 months now. Awesome. And you haven't had any issues? Payments have always been on time? No problems? Yes. All you have to do is being honest and truthful. Then you would enjoy the maximum benefit of the company. And she said, no problem with the payment. You would be given $500 first week bonus also. I mean, I'm sure it's the same person. The tone, either that or it's a collaborator who's like sitting right there with them. And I'm sure that they're thinking, oh yeah, this is Rich. She's about ready to send all the information to us. So I said, thank you. There are so many scams out there. I just want to make sure that I don't become a victim. I understand. This is the best company for you. I'm glad you know me so intimately. I said, I appreciate your honesty. Have a wonderful day. And then switching back to that conversation, of course, right after I had written to Tabitha, that's when that message came in. Have you done that? I said, yes, I reset my password. They said, great. Now send the correct details. So I sent the password, which is using a variety of characters, but basically says, no scammers allowed. And you'll see it here on the screen. And he says, is this the password for both accounts? Like, doesn't even recognize that it says no scammers allowed. I mean, anybody would look at this and know that there was a hidden message in there. I said, yes, both. I just double checked and it works fine here. Of course, it's all bogus. So there was no double checking, but I want him to wonder what's going wrong If I could do it, it works for me, it should work for them, right? So I say, so what's next? And he says, are you sure? Are you sure the username is correct? Because of course they just tried it and it's not working. And you may recall I told them that unicorn, using a 0 as the O, was my username. So now he wants me to send it to them. And I said, do you want me to call my bank to check and make sure? Because that's the last thing they're going to want. Because any bank, if I explained to them what I am doing, what the scammer is doing, they would say, this sounds like a scam. Don't do this. So anyway, he says, what username did you use to log into it just now? And I said, unicorn. But this time I used an O and not a 0. And he said, oh, you made a mistake in the first typing. I said, oh. And he said, check what you typed above. So quickly he goes and he checks that. And then he says, the username is not correct. Log out of BOA and log in again. I said, okay. After a couple of minutes, I said, yes, I just did that and it worked perfectly. Perhaps you're not typing it incorrectly. And he said, how do you typed it? And I said, and he said, I think I am not getting it right. And I said, with my fingers, because he asked how I typed it. And he said, write it out. And I said, how do you typed it? He said, I copied it and pasted it, but not working. So I sent it back. Unicorn. But this time I'm using an M instead of an O at the end. So unicorn. And he said, unicorn or unicorn? And I said, unicorn. Then the password is what? And I said, the password I already sent to you. No scammers allowed. I sent it back. So he tries that and then sends me another screenshot saying that the information he entered doesn't work and that do they want to try troubleshooting tips? And then I said to him, you know what I think? And he said, what's all this, Barbara? And then he said, what? And I said, I think you suck at being a scammer, and maybe you should get a real job. It's been a lot of fun, but it's time for me to go. Thank you for your time, though. It's been enormously entertaining. So at the end of the day, this is not a new scam. It's probably a new scammer. A lot of the copy and paste messages that he sent to me outside of the description of Merrill Lynch are identical to ones that I've received previously from other scammers. So it's either the same network of scammers or scammers who are sharing information, and they do that on the dark web, by the way. If they run into a scam that works well for them, a lot of times they'll post with pride on the dark web and they'll share that information. At any rate, the takeaways here are, first and foremost, companies are not asking people, big companies are not asking people to post their jobs on Facebook and act as intermediaries to take people on board and share ways to get in touch with the company. The second takeaway, companies, regardless of size, are not going to do chat-only, text-only interviews over apps like Signal, Session, WhatsApp, Telegram, Google Chat, any of that, okay? It just is not going to happen. So please don't fall for these things. Companies are also, third takeaway, not going to ask you for access to your bank account. They don't need that. Even if you're getting direct deposit, they don't need your user ID and password. They will ask for, a legitimate company will ask for your account number, and a lot of times for your routing number so that they can get that money. They can wire that money into your account. They can do a funds transfer. Please be careful out there. I've alerted this particular Facebook page, and believe me, they're not the only one. There are a bunch of them out there. It's just this one is low-hanging fruit. It's so, I mean, I can literally in 5 minutes spot a scam over there, express interest, and again, within 5 minutes, be engaging with a scammer who thinks that they have a hot prospect on the hook. So that's it. If you like this video and you want to stay apprised of other types of scams that are coming up, please like and subscribe. If you are looking for a work from home job that doesn't involve scams, I strongly encourage you to visit the videos in our free online course about how to find and land legitimate work from home jobs. You'll find those in the playlist right below here on the Rat Race Rebellion YouTube channel. Just be careful out there. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop a comment below. We'll definitely be fielding those, answering them. And that's it. We hope to see you back soon, hopefully with something more encouraging than scams. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.